Yes, we're live. So, hello everyone. I'm Julian Joseph. I work as a data science um, developer advocate for Google Cloud, and I am also volunteering my time as a WIDS ambassador for the past 5 years. And I'm actually very honored to be able to do this. We try to create a platform where women from in and around India can come forward. I say India because now we've gone virtual. Earlier it was Mumbai and Kerala, where there are so many women around us who are working in the data industry even before the buzzword actually took off. And every company has these women, and we hardly get a chance to hear from them. So, Stanford came up with this initiative in 2015 to have a conference where you'll have only women speakers. So, there will be no more excuses on we didn't find a woman speaker. And that's how this entire thing started. I'll just like to give a quick intro on what all WIDS does in addition to these conferences, and quickly play a video. It's very short. Bear with us.
Data-driven decision making is at the heart of so much in the world right now. We're making decisions not just for us now, but for future generations as well.
The connection to data science is becoming more and more important to the work. The work has been going on for the last 25 years.
So what really drives us at WITS is that we want diversity at the decision table here. And women absolutely need to be there.
To me, a healthy data science community is one that embraces diversity.
We started WIDS with a conference at Stanford University in 2015 with three main goals that haven't really changed. First, to inspire women to join or stay in the field of data science. Second, to educate everyone by highlighting fantastic women and their technical work. And third, to support women around the world.
And wow, did we hit a nerve we didn't even know existed. Fast forward to 2022, and we have 200 regional events worldwide in more than 60 countries. And it just keeps growing year after year.
Last year, we were with all of you virtually. We had a 24-hour around the world event, which was very exciting. And so despite the pandemic, we got together and we created this global community. We had speakers from over 25 different countries, and it was wonderful.
And one silver lining in an otherwise tough year in 2021 is that attendees to WIDS regional events could be from anywhere in the world. We also saw really interesting collaborations, WIDS ambassadors coming together to host events in Africa, Saudi Arabia, Colombia, and Central and Eastern Europe.
One of the things I really love about WIDS is hosting the WIDS podcast. And we now have listeners from over 160 countries, which is just incredible, and many different guests. And I'm also really excited to announce that we'll soon have a co-host of the WIDS podcast, Cindy Orozco.
We also had amazing participation in the WIDS Datathon this year. Over 4,000 registrants in the Datathon from over 90 countries participating in a challenge related to climate change. And a big shout out to all the WIDS ambassadors who held workshops. We had over 40 workshops across the world.
I hope we also lift our heads above the horizon and think more than just about this moment in time, and think about the goals that we have for our young women and our young girls who'll be leading the next generation.
With the WIDS Education Outreach Program, which is focused on secondary schools, we've delivered materials to collaborators in over 50 countries around the world. We've had a great year despite all the challenges in the schools with COVID. We've had pilots everywhere from Povada, India, to New Haven, Connecticut, to a refugee camp in Jordan and beyond.
New last year were the WIDS workshops, where instructors provided dozens of workshops that were attended by thousands of attendees worldwide, online.
These WIDS initiatives would not be possible without the generous support from our sponsors, the global visionaries, the innovation leaders, and everyone at Stanford.
One thing we've been very excited about this last year is working on what we call the Wits Academy. We got interested in understanding better what the barriers were for young women and for minorities to enter this exciting field, and how we could possibly remove those barriers, and what sort of programs could we put in place with partners all over the world to help.
Our ultimate aim with WIDS is to increase the percentage of women in data science, to achieve at least 30% women across all domains and at all levels, from students to senior leaders, by the year 2030. And we call this 30 by 30. We believe 30% is a tipping point. That's when women truly believe that they are part of a group and they can contribute and have great impact. And we hope that you join us all in reaching this big goal.
For now, though, whether you're at Stanford or at one of the regional events worldwide or just in your living room, you are a part of the WIDS worldwide movement.
Welcome to WIDS!
So that was a quick intro, and it's a huge goal. I know 2030 is just 8 years later. So this is a part of that, an attempt to be a part of that huge movement. And now I am extremely pleased to welcome our speaker for today, Saradha. She has been a manager at Google for a long time. She spent 15 plus years across many teams since the inception of Google India. So I can confidently say we are in the presence of a VVIP. She started as a reviewer in the world of in the world where when the India office had only ad approvals, then kept on trying different roles, being very flexible, be it training in L&D, operations, sales, account management, before she moved into quality and now vendor operations. She runs global vendor operations for our ads business and works with multiple partners and teams. She's very passionate about helping women grow, which is why she's here, and thrive in the workplace. She's also champion of most of our women at groups, resource groups, which facilitates a lot of these soft skill development sessions, including insights, discovery, and I Am Remarkable sessions. I'm sure a lot of you have seen those. So she's currently, in addition to all of this, I don't know how she finds the time for it, but she's also pursuing her PhD in gender and corporate communications. Welcome, Sharda. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Julian. It's wonderful to see presence of many upcoming professionals and so few professionals. It's also good to see a combination of men and women. I know the WIDS video we all watched had a lot of women, but please remember the 30 by 30 journey is possible only when we have diversity in our group as well, which means we are calling out all men to be part of this journey along with us and be great allies. Huge thanks to Julian and the WIDS program for having me over. And since I saw the video, I've also been very diligently watching some of your conferences and live casts that have been there, starting from the first Tech Talk of Bushra and then the recent one of Akanksha. So I know you all have all the stage set in terms of the technicalities of data science. But before we go into what I have, I did want to tell you about myself. Professionally, I'm not a data scientist, right? Second, I'm not an engineer. Third, as you all are aware, I've been at Google for close to 15 years. Then what am I doing here in a tech company talking to all of you, right? The very fact that I'm here is a point that I would like to make in the call that I have today with you all for about 40 minutes, is that most times data science, the word or the subject is associated with, privacy issues, data leaks, profits, techniques, or at least all these terms, data science, analytics, statistics, database, they are all what most people associate with professional lives exclusively. But think about this. All of these and many of these associated terms, they are not meant for only data science professionals. In reality, most of us in day-to-day experience the role of data science in whatever form, whether we are the doers or the enablers or the receivers of the output. We are all seeing data science in reality in our day-to-day lives in almost every situation. And hence, I wanted to talk to you about what do you think is data science? In terms of what do you think is data science? In case anybody wants to type out on the chat screen, what do you think is data science? Please do not Google up and look. Give me the full definition. Put it in your own terms, please. Anyone? Okay. If you can move to the next slide. Can I move myself? Let me try. This is my tech challenge. Yes. So if you can see here, I don't know if you all have seen this visual representation before, but this is what is the entire cycle of data science, which starts from understanding what we are trying to do, look at a lot of data, gathering the data, validating the data, because you have to clean it up. Not all data is very, very valid or unbiased. And then you explore the data using multiple techniques. You use modelings. And then you feature engineering into it to see how can we drive this into machine learning possible. And then you use that for how do you extrapolate data, what you have into the future use. And finally, we end up figuring out how to produce this data for easily digestible information for anybody who's going to be the consumer of this. All this said and done, I have a very simplistic definition of data science. For me, it is who's a data scientist? Anyone who gathers, organizes, analyzes the information or data, and makes decision. And if I apply this definition in reality or in real world, look at all the scenarios in which we can actually make data science happen. If you go to the next slide, I have a quick quiz for you. I hope those who are in the studio are able to take it. Here is what it is. Are you able to see my screen? I hope you are. If you can go to the slido.com, either on your phones or on your computers, if you can just go to slido.com, it's just loading the page. Give it a second. You will be able to see this code there. Go to slido.com and put in the code 1048148. You will have a small question there. Name one field where data science is applied in our daily lives. Just type out one field. And let's see what word cloud comes up.
Saradha, could you say the code again?
Yeah, it's there on the slide. You can see it. It's 1048148. Are we able to type in?
Yes.
Great.
The poll section, right?
Yes. Yes. Netflix. Yes. GPS. Super. I like Netflix comes first. I'll give it a couple of minutes for others also to type in, those who have joined. Amazon. Okay.
Saradha,
Amazon.
I'm trying to show the screen where I think you have to share that screen.
Are you not able to see the screen where you have the answers?
No, we are seeing your PPT.
Oh, got it. Give me a second and I should be able to show that to you. I have only 4. One more minute and we can see what other answers do we have here.
If you just click on share and do entire screen, I think we can see that.
Yes, but I don't have more answers than these 4, which is Amazon, GPS, and Netflix.
Cool.
So I'm going to stop sharing on the other screen and go to the next slide. So we have 4, which is still a good number. But if you think about these, right, where we are in terms of having data science, I hope you can see my screen now. which I will present again because that was on another interface. Here you go. There you go. So yes, Netflix does top the rank. Whoever answered it, thank you very much. You also see internet sets. So we did see Amazon as well. Thank you for that. So we did see an online shopping. These are two big things that we've all seen. But if you look at industry as a whole, entertainment industry uses data science. All the search points that we get when we are looking at your favorites, most searched, the recent searches, even whether it is Netflix or it's your YouTube videos or it is one of Hotstar, Disney, any of these entertainment industries use a lot of your interests and data that you have provided to the systems. Internet search, all our searches, all our Googles filling in, auto assistant, all of them use data science. Online shopping, Amazon, and any online format. Healthcare, that is one of the most prominent industries today that uses data science quite a bit in terms of our historical data, in terms of identifying chronic diseases, in terms of giving trends about how, whether it is our blood sugar levels or glucose levels, any of these, or even blood pressure is moving up or down. Airline planning. Imagine in the world of pandemic, when airline industry went down, how are they able to come back? Whether it is which routes to plan for, what is the pricing they should plan for, when to expect a spike in travel, all of these are powered by data science. Finance, whether it is stock market, all the modeling that the stock market analysts do, or in case you are into share market, you yourself will be probably using some predictive analysis to figure out which stock is going to go up when, apart from looking at the graphs. Banking, what is the interest rate, how much will we get back, which bank to invest, where should we take a loan, whether it is a vehicle loan or a housing loan. All of these are powered by data science. Logistics, all about transport, whether it is transport in bulk for all the online deliveries we have now, or it is actual transport of goods, whether it is B2B, like one company setting up their warehouse, or even us shifting houses, say from Kerala to Kashmir, where we transport all our household things. They use data science to figure out where are things stuck, which is the best warehouse to store, where can we find, how do we look at weather conditions. And again, if you come back to the digital world, you have speech recognition, including things like captions that can get typed out. You have recorders, face recognition for locking of phones or lockers, digital advertising, all online ads works on data science. And then you have research studies. What I am doing, which is in the form of, say, PhD, for example, is all about data science. And I'll give you in a minute. And education, entrance exams. Now, simplistic ideas, these are still industries, but take it back to our homes. As I said, it is not just for professionals. Even in our home life, how many of us spend time in budgeting, planning for our travel? Like, I want to make an international travel. All that you collect are data points, right? Who are the agencies I should visit? How long will it take for my visa to be processed? What is the amount I should spend? How many currency conversion, right? How many dollars, how many euros, how many pesos should I carry? How much will I be spending? What should the accommodation be? Where should the accommodation be? All of these are data points. Whether you and this happens every day in a household, right? There are some of us who write diaries or who maintain our own budgets. What do you do with that? That's data. You have actually captured every data of every single rupee that you have spent, probably. And end of the year, you're doing your own accounting to figure out where you can save money. So you have a goal. You are gathering the data in terms of how much money you have got, how much you are spending. You're analyzing the spend patterns to see, okay, I have spent so much on travel, so much on my daily needs, so much on groceries. And then you're making decisions for next year to say, hey, I'm going to use so much more money or so much less money for travel. And if you go by the simplistic definition that I gave, gather data, analyze the data, organize the data before you analyze, and use it to make decisions, it will apply in every single field. And what I learned through the journey that Julian mentioned was I have been relying heavily on data science without my own knowledge of how I have been using it. So when I joined the ads business, it was all on online advertising. So I've done a lot of statistical modeling to figure out how much of online advertising is spent offline, how much of offline gets attributed to online. And then eventually, when I moved to training, that's where my passion is, I realized that I can apply data science there to understand students' behavior, adult learning behavior, to understand what is required, to understand how to gauge a trainer, what is a training effectiveness score. And I could use that to probably introduce a few new concepts or streamline what I knew. And now, in my core job of operations, I look at data day in and day out. I manage probably operations for across 9 sites, 13 languages. So I look at data in terms of cost and spend. I look at data on a weekly basis to see how our customers are reacting, what is customer sentiment. I look at data to see how quickly are my team able to answer to the questions of my customers in terms of customer service. And without realizing, I have made a lot of business decisions using data. So when I started thinking about it, I realized, yes, we are using data science everywhere, but what is women's role in it? And hence, leaving aside all the technical aspects, I did want us as a group to achieve our mission of 3030, think about the various uses which we are probably unconsciously doing. And now in my PhD, it is actual data science because I have done surveys to gather data. I have done focus groups to gather data. Now I'm using regression, chi-square, ANOVA testing to figure out the correlations across all the data I need. And probably my thesis, by the time I finish it, will be a decision or a recommendation on what we should do. If you look at from all of this perspective, whether it's friends' suggestions on Facebook or how Google helps in completing a phrase in, or your television favorites predicted in Netflix, which is your preference, it is being used not by professionals, but by common people everywhere, almost every situation. Data science today is considered one of the most lucrative jobs, right? It has immense scope for growth. Everybody interacts with technology, which is new, right? And we have budding folks in the industry, in STEM, right, who are seeking for jobs in data science, which means you are in hot demand, right? And you can equip the firms, the organizations to plan better and effectively. But if you look deep inside the space, there is a problem. That's the problem of gender gap, right? Why? Why is there a problem? This is just a meme. Please take it with a pinch of salt. This is the current scenario. You go to a data science conference, you will not be surprised to see this or somebody making this comment as on today, or at least a couple of years ago when I went for a non-virtual in-person conference. Must be nice being a woman at a data science conference because there's no line. It means there are very, very fewer people. And the aim of WIDS and many other such groups and conferences is to get us to move away from such scenario where there is very few women representation. As you can see, for the data love of us all, here is some data that is picked up from Census 2011. This is India, the Gender Gap Report Global and BCG report. What you see is a tapering funnel. If you look at India alone, right, in a population of close to 1.5 billion, 48% are women. That is approximately 660 million. Of the 660 million, 55% go through university graduation studies. So that means they're all educated, they're all graduates, they will seek jobs. Of the 55%, 40% of women, 75% study STEM. Of that 70, only 45% are women who are in the field of STEM. India is still in a better place globally, where STEM education for women, especially in terms of engineering, maths, is pretty high compared to a global ratio. But the problem is, despite all of this, we hardly are at 15% in terms of women working in data science. And you've seen the goal by 2030 is to go 30. Why do you think this happens? Why do you think this happens? Even when there are many STEM graduates, why do you think this happens of women tapering off even when they are graduated, but not in the workspace? Some common answers? You can type in the chat. Okay. First is perception that it's a male-dominated industry. That tech, which is where the space of data science is, because again of the perception that we spoke about early, is that it's very nerdy and probably you're expected to be all nerds. So many women don't want to STEM up there. Second, there's a lot of unconscious bias in the space. Sometimes that exists. There definitely is some pay gap which people are trying to work through. There is discrimination in terms of allocating projects, even within the space. There is sometimes pay gap. There is lack of role model for women because you don't have many women already in such senior positions where probably they will help us. All in all, there is gender bias across all of what I told you, but there's also huge attrition. So even when women join the space of data science, and that's across women in India, not just data science, across any woman professional, by the time they reach mid-management, because of social, cultural, societal norms and pressures, they do attrite and move out to focus on their personal lives. Given all of this, I do still want to call out that data science today is one of the best career choices for women in all stages. When I say all stages, it is all stages of our life and career. Whether you are a fresher seeking a job, whether you already have a job but wishing to transition to other roles, or whether you are a woman who has taken a break but would like to re-enter the workforce, for all of this, data science is one important field today that's open to women for a level playing field. And why do I say that? So first is the entire space we are in, right? Data science has topped the emerging jobs rank for the last 3 consecutive years. It is not the first time, right? 3 consecutive years. It is growing across all countries. And since the last 5 years, it has grown at a 650 percentage points is how the employment rates in just this space is growing. It's no surprise because this is very, very an interdisciplinary field. As you saw, the number of industries in which this can be applied, this is such an interdisciplinary field that you can actually get into it if you have the inclination for it, right? So MetLife conducted a survey, I think very recently. 1 in every 4 women who surveyed. So every 4 women professional, when they were asked, what is your next step in terms of your professional growth, they all wanted a change in career. Imagine now the number of women who are interested, who are looking for a change. And of that, 2 in 5 said they're looking for a career in STEM. And now on this side, you have women interested who want to move into STEM. On this side, you have a 650 percentage growth points that are willing to hire us. That's number 1. Number 2, it's a very, very learnable science. It's very trainable. So long as you find the right story that you want to tell, understand what it means for the business that you want to work in. Good news for data science is whatever industry you are in, whatever problem statement you have, whatever passion you have, you can be certain that there is a way to apply data science. All we need to find out is what is that way. So it is true that you will hear wide promises of high pay and job growth in data science today, and that is the reality. In the space of STEM, you'll see many women as on today employed in, say, marketing, communication, education, retail. All of them today account for most women-dominated areas / industries. And then you also have companies, HR roles, secretarial roles, administrative roles. They are also mostly occupied by women in India. But as a result, what happened? When the pandemic hit, and there were women in these positions were probably let go. They were the first affected when the job market got hit. But data science is considered a technical set. So if a woman joins data science, because of the growth opportunities you have there, the stability in this role is going to be extremely high. So for the women who are looking to transition, if you are in a position where you have felt lack of job security because of the industry you are in, you may want to consider learning and switching to data science. That will increase your protection of job retention. That will also look at, take care of you in terms of either downsizing or crisis. The second is speed of hiring. Because of the growth rate, as I told you, 650%, with a number of companies looking to hire into analytical roles, women are also looking to find a positive workplace where there is no discrimination. And here there's no, probably most companies do not have such a big team in data science yet. So you will see less discrimination. You will find competitive pay. So some of the concerns we discussed, why women are not present in the workforce, automatically goes away. So you don't have to stick to an unpleasant work experience or environment. You can consider moving to data science, which is a budding team, and you will contribute to actually defining gender parity in these places, right? So in the event that you're currently unhappy, think of a role as a data scientist. You will not struggle nearly as much because the speed of hiring, the people looking for us and willing to give women opportunity is very, very high. Second, with all these conferences, all of these institutes, Women in Data Science, Women Academy for Data Science, and then we do have a couple more academies as well. All of them are looking to create an incredible community for us all, where we can hear inspirational stories, whether we are looking to network professionally or just to understand what's happening, or we would like to take on mentors and growth, or we would just like to learn some skill set. You have enough community connects to learn and grow. Power of passion with tech. Data science is one industry where you don't have to feel tied to any one space. For example, I told you that I'm pursuing my PhD where I apply heavy data science, but on language and education in my case. Folks who are doctors, who are interested in data science, or healthcare professionals can easily apply data science in their space. So maybe you always dreamed, there's this hidden dream that we all had. I want to work in fashion. I want to work in sports. I want to work in, say, a non-profit organization which will make an impact to society. It can be any of these. This is one space where you can combine your power of passion and technology for you to use data science for social good and for your own satisfaction, right? There is a study again done by Bloomberg which says that about 100 million workers globally in 8 of the world's largest economy, and imagine 100 million employee workforce globally, want to change their jobs by 2030. No wonder we have taken a goal of 30 by 30, right? Last 10 years, we have grown at 32% just in India, by the way. While exponential growth has happened, even within India, specific industries that have grown are healthcare, telecommunications, and entertainment. Apart from, on the banking side, it's not core banking in India, it's been more on the insurance side. Time is now right. We have a lot of women chief data officers because of lack of, because of the fast hiring and lack of immediacy where people were willing to move. More and more women are in the space of data science. Deliberately, companies are seeking out women to be in the space of data science. And this was touched upon in the video as well. If you look at historical, even you take the bias for and against women, where women are supposed to be more nurturing, more caring, more creative, do not like conflicts. Apply all of this in a work scenario. So traditionally, stats and data science, very fast-paced, code-first kind of business, need business acumen, need data science team. Yes, they will solve problems. They will solve problems with more accuracy. But who will take it to the larger organization? Who will influence the organization to accept this decision, right? While we need all of the other two, which is business acumen and core technical skills, which will create a powerful data science product, user adoption, stakeholder management, stakeholder buy-in requires a lot of communication and collaboration. And that is one of the biggest strengths, legendary, historically, factually proven, of a woman. So why not combine the power that we have, which already is in the minds of people, to our advantage? One of the most dangerous pitfalls for any such product that is built by a data scientist is getting into the black box scenario where nobody knows what's happening and suddenly you send them a decision. That will not fly. That you can't go with the final decision and say, stakeholders, please trust me. That will not happen with any product, and more so with a data science product. So interpreting causal relationships, interpreting correlations, interpreting large data sets, but with subtlety, that's where the creativity comes, so that both humans and machine learnings can occasionally see patterns and remove some of the biased, downright, probably dangerous conclusions, can happen only when we have a diverse employee force, diverse core group that is working on these products. Even as executives, all of us appreciate big data. That is true. We need an effective, comprehensive data strategy for almost all companies. That is also true. But this requires change. This requires change that is very, very hard to implement. And the big Brahmastra, as they call it here, that you can easily make this change happen is by ensuring that you put collaboration in the forefront, that you get buy-in upfront, that you are able to manage opposition, conflicts on a common ground. In this, female data professionals shine. So from earning a STEM degree to switching roles to even picking up the role of a chief data officer, that's a new role that's created, women can enjoy data-focused careers, at the same time serve a greater role in reshaping a data-driven organization. And that is why they are a very integral part to even make large decisions and make society good. If we don't have a woman's perspective into the core modeling of your machine learning, the output is going to be biased, primarily because of selection bias that all of us are aware of. So use this opportunity of STEM and data science growth specifically for men and women to narrow the gender gap in STEM. Diversity is a very, very competitive asset in the private sector, more so than public sector, right? And data science now is like a national priority for both education and research. What better time for you all as budding professionals, as folks who are looking at to transition and lead the next generation of organizations, for you to look at data science, whether it is public sector, private sector, education, where there's so much focus on women and data science, there is a greater need to foster inclusivity in all these organizations for better outcomes. What can we do, each of us, to reflect this in the gender diversity gap? The conversation no longer remains STEM and no longer remains data science, but becomes a conversation of women in data science and a larger conversation of gender inclusivity. And it is our job, all of you, you've heard from me today on how so much, and some of you also answered, how so much of data science is applied in day-to-day life. So it is our responsibility to get the word out that data science is not, it is not cut out to be in one box. It can apply to any field and every field. So we don't need to live with the perception, whether it is helping tracking down our pandemic trends or endemic, or it is Netflix, or is Center of Disease Control, or education, or retail. It is our job to get people to start seeing this softer side of data science, where careers abound in every single industry that we can think of. Because of its interdisciplinary nature and broad application, it's very attractive for many people. And without women population, remember, this whole journey, this whole global mission is destined to fail. With that, I will take a pause and take any questions, thoughts, comments that you all have.
Hi, Saradha. There are no questions currently. Since this is early morning, I think people will watch this later on as well.
So, is there a way if they watch it, they can post questions, Julian, on the same group, and can we get it answered?
Yes, we can do that.
Cool. Thank you so much for having me then. Feel free to chat with us. Let us know if you have any questions in the space. I hope many of us as women and men who are there help other women near them in their lives understand the reality of the broad application of data science and also get us into the careers that we are passionate about. Thank you and wish you all the best.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sharda, for taking out the time. And I think this is a perfect ending to our entire 2022 series. Um, just one question from my side. If there was anybody trying to think about doing a master's, or I know a lot of these people within our group, within our WhatsApp chat as well, they were working as software engineers. They took out I mean, they went for GREs and they're now going to do their masters. But it's like it's a question always, like, should I take a degree and then change from the normal software engineering role to a data scientist role? Do you think these degrees are important, or do you think people should at least start?
Sure, I'll give my personal experience a little bit. Degrees are important to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
So what I mean by that is, if you are entering the job market for the first time now, right,
Mm-hmm.
a degree will help you a foot in the door, because when we screen resumes, you will have a degree in data science. But if you have gotten a degree in, as you said, maybe like for me, right, I have an MA, it will not make sense for me after 15 years of my career to do a degree in data science. Right? What I would have probably learned by experience over 15 years is what will help me get through. That said, reskilling is what I would call is important. It is not the degree, but it is staying relevant, getting you the relevant certifications to prove that, accreditations to prove that you have learned it. So skilling becomes important more than a degree if you have been you have gained experience as an employee for quite some time. And the quite some time in my experience has been in the range of 7 to 10 years. You normally take 7 years in an industry to pick up everything that is probably taught, say, in an MBA course. If I've been in management for 7 years, I would consider myself that I don't need to do a management, because I would have probably somewhere along the line, if I have continuously upskilled and reskilled myself, I would have picked up those concepts without a degree. So my take would be, if you are a fresher looking for it, go for a degree. If you have experience of more than 5 years, figure out your reskilling opportunities. In my case, as I said, I don't have an engineering degree, but I did a lot of certificate courses, depending on where I wanted to be, of, say, from Indian Institute of Stats.
Okay.
Otherwise, in my MA language studies, which is my core, or PR corporate communication, I will not get to do so much of data analysis. But I know that that's going to be my line eventually in the future, and I figured I had passion. So I went and did a lot of certificate courses in Indian Institute of Statistical Studies. Then you can also pick up private certifications, around. So I did my Lean Six Sigma, which looks a lot of data, So figure out your options to reskill. Don't stop learning. Learning journey never stops, so long as you are able to add to it in your resume, depending on your stage in life.
Mm-hmm. So I think when it comes to the hiring section, the brand value of your wherever you've taken the degree from, or the certificate from, kind of adds a filter. It's
It's
think
just an
with
additional foot in the door,
Mhm.
because there's nothing else for us to add at that point in time.
Got it, got it. Because when we used to have these physical conferences in person in Mumbai, we've met people who have come back also after a long gap, and women used to come up and ask, like, how do I have this foot in the door? So it's very crucial to, I think, like you mentioned, being flexible and being ready to learn and try to keep up with the trends.
Yeah,
Thank you so
and data science specifically, Julian, because this is an evolving space.
much.
So every day, every week, there's going to be something new in this space,
True, true.
which is why staying relevant is the key.
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. And this has been a wonderful talk as such, and I'm sure it'll be useful for anybody who tunes in later as well. Thank you for your
Cool.
time.
Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.